Bukod sa paghinga, isa sa mga bagay na hindi natin kayang i-deny sa buhay ay ang ating encounter at witness ng mga arts, whether in the form of dancing, music, painting, literature, or sculpture. At sino nga ba ang hindi mawiwili sa mga arts? Dahil ang art ay nakakapag-demonstrate ng ating creativity at ang art nakakapag-challenge siya sa ating perception ng reality. And sa mga art, nagkakaroon tayo ng shared narrative as a humanity. At gaya ng sabi ko kanina, meron na tayong common experience, encounter at witness ng mga arts, whether in the form of music, dancing, painting, literature, or sculpture. Ngayon, in this video, I would like to argue na merong isang art sa culture natin today. Sabihin natin, hindi na natin ganun na pagbibigyan ng pansin or napapractice in our culture today. And that is the art of conversation. Kung ibabacktrack natin sa history ng humanity, ang philosophy or art ng conversation ay officially nag-start kay Plato, na kung saan inintroduce niya ang kanyang teacher na si Socrates. At alam naman natin kung anong meron kay Socrates. Si Socrates lamang ang nagpauso ng tinatawag na Socratic method. Ito yung dialectic method in pursuit of knowledge through questions and answers. At itong cooperative dialogue ay nag-serve as the stepping stone para mag-emerge ang philosophy, na kung saan yung mga intellectuals, thinkers, at philosophers ay nagkaroon na ngayon sila ng debate and conversation about their worldviews and ideologies, na kung saan dito na pumasok yung rationalism, empiricism, existentialism, nihilism, naturalism, at atheism. At kung iisipin mo, in their culture, way back then in the history of humanity, parang ang ganda ng idea na meron silang art of conversation where they can discuss their different worldviews with one another. At pumasok lang sa isip ko habang gumagawa ako ng keynote for this video is, why does it seem that we lost the art of conversation in our culture today? And based on my research, halos napakadaming reasons kung bakit halos hindi na natin napapractice yung art ng conversation sa culture natin ngayon. At isi-share ko lang sa inyo yung dalawang common reasons. Una ay yung philosophical reason, pangalawa ay yung psychological reason. So, dun muna tayo sa philosophical reason. Sabi ni Nigel Warburton, meron daw tayong stereotype in our culture today pagdating sa mga intellectuals and sa mga philosophers. Na kung saan, kailangan mo na nating sabihin na bago tayo magkaroon ng conversation with someone, kailangan meron muna tayong ideas and subjects and topics on top of our minds bago tayo makipag-usap with someone else. Kasi wala naman tayong topic sa conversation at walang saysay yung conversation natin kung wala tayong ideas at wala tayong topic. At sabi ni Nigel Warburton, sa culture natin ngayon, meron daw stereotype na kung saan kapag ikaw na tao ka at meron kang ideas, meron kang ideology, meron kang worldview, meron kang subject at topic sa isip mo, you need to isolate yourself from other people to the point na hindi ka na magkakaroon ng social interaction sa mga ibang tao para i-discuss yung idea na meron ka. At dito pa in-explain ni Nigel Warburton na this is somehow a reflection of self-centeredness or selfishness, na kung saan iniisip natin na yung wisdom and knowledge ay galing lang sa atin because we tend to isolate ourselves and we tend to think na hindi natin dapat i-share to with other people or hindi tayo magkaroon ng conversation with other people or even learn from others. At dito, pinopoint din ni Nigel Warburton na kung saan kapag meron kang ideas or you consider yourself a philosopher or a thinker, hindi ibig sabihin na kailangan mo maging extrovert para magkaroon ka ng conversation with other people. No, you don't have to be an extrovert. You just have to be a conversant where you have the courage to set yourself into the world and have a conversation with other people, especially with people, those who have a different worldview from yours. Gaya nga ng sabi ni Nigel Warburton sa kanyang article, philosophy is an inherently social activity that thrives on the collision of viewpoints and rarely emerges from the unchallenged interior monologue. And the second reason is the psychological reason. At ang ating psychological reason ay social anxiety. Now, I'm not a psychologist or psychiatrist myself, but based on my research, one of the factors or reasons para magkaroon ng social anxiety ang isang tao ay based sa negative experiences. Ngayon, iput natin siya sa context ng conversation. So let's say for example, kaya ka nagkaroon ng social anxiety kapag magkakaroon ka ng conversation with other people is, let's say for example, nagkaroon ka ng traumatic experience in the past. Maybe pinahiya ka or maybe nagsabi siya ng masasamang words na naka-hurt sa'yo at dinala mo from the past into the present, kaya na-develop yung social anxiety mo. At sabi pa ron, kapag meron daw social anxiety ang isang tao, dalawa daw yung nangyayari. Una is yung avoidance. Dahil meron kang anxiety, you tend to be sensitive na makita mo yung mga threatening situation. At let's say for example, meron kang social anxiety sa conversation, you tend to see the conversation itself as a threatening situation. Kaya nangyayari, you withdraw from that setup, you withdraw from that situation. Kaya nangyayari ay avoidance. Pangalawa is ambivalence. Na kung saan dahil meron kang social anxiety, you tend to think and entertain a thoughts na ano ba yung reason ng conversation na to? Ano ba yung intention ng conversation na to? Or dumarating sa point na kung saan you think na ano ba yung possible resulta ng conversation na to, and might be and possibly and probably na negative yung magiging result ng conversation na yon kasi nga meron kang anxiety, and nangyayari is you tend to withdraw again and avoid the conversation. Kung titingnan mo, meron tayong philosophical reason. Una is yung stereotyping, pangalawa yung psychological reason, which is social anxiety. And I would like to affirm and confirm to all of you, these two reasons are valid. However, the question is, are they reasonable? Bakit? Kasi the next question na kailangan natin sagutin is kapag nawala na talaga yung art ng conversation sa culture natin ngayon, ano yung possible consequences? At meron lang tatlo. Una, mockery becomes the reasoning in disguise. Bakit? Kasi nga hindi na tayo nagkakaroon ng art ng conversation. Hindi na tayo umuupo sa isang table, nagkakape at nag-uusap sa ating mga different worldviews and ideologies and ideas. Kaya nangyayari is we tend to degrade the other people. We tend to denigrate them. We tend to mock them for what they believe, how they believe it, and why they believe it in the first place. Dahil wala ng conversation between people who have different worldviews, ang nangyayari is binabastos na lang nila yung isa't isa, and they are attacking the other person personally, not through their ideas. Pangalawa, bad ideas and good objections are unanswered. Kailangan nating i-admit na kapag nagkakaroon tayo ng conversation with other people, meron silang mga bad ideas at meron silang mga good objections, even kahit sa sarili nating paniniwala, sa sarili nating ideology. Pero kapag talagang totally nawala na talaga yung art ng conversation, yung mga bad ideas ng mga tao, yung good objections nila sa mga ibang worldview na inaaral nila ay hindi na nasasagot. Bakit? Kasi wala nang pag-uusap in the first place. And lastly, the consequence of totally losing the art of conversation in our culture today is we die. Sabi ni Alfred North Whitehead, the purpose of thinking is to let the ideas die instead of us dying. Gaya na nabanggit natin kanina, bago ka magkaroon ng conversation with someone, kailangan meron ka munang ideas, subjects, and topics na i-discuss mo dun sa conversation mismo. Ngayon, ang sabi dito ni Alfred Whitehead is kapag hindi mo na daw nalalabas yung ideas mo, ang tendency is ikaw mamamatay ka internally. Pero kapag nilabas mo daw yung ideas mo, nabubuhay sila because you tend to converse them into words or actions, which is having conversation with other people. Kaya nabubuhay ka internally. Kaya kapag nawala na daw yung art ng conversation, which is, sabihin natin mawala na rin yung art ng thinking, is we die on our own. Ngayon, how can we recapture the art of conversation? I would like to present 3 Cs. Una, curiosity instead of mockery. Gaya na nasabi natin kanina na kapag wala na talaga yung art ng conversation, na kapag hindi na nakakapag-usap yung mga tao, we tend to degrade, denigrate, and mock the person na merong different belief sa atin. At para ma-revive natin yung art ng conversation, we have to start from the place of curiosity. Now, we tend to ask ourselves, ano yung pinapaniwalaan niya? Paano siya nag-come up sa ganitong paniniwala? At bakit ito yung pinapaniwalaan niya in the first place? So, curiosity instead of mockery. Pangalawa, connect through listening. So we have to learn from other people. And the best way to learn from other people is to listen. And listening tend to connect us from other people. So instead na makinig lang tayo just for the sake na meron tayong isasagot o ibabarahin natin yung sasabihin ng kausap natin, let's connect and build relationship before we go to the business of having discussion sa mga ideas and worldviews. And then pangatlo is collect facts and logic. So we have to admit na kapag nagkakaroon tayo ng conversation sa mga tao na merong different beliefs sa atin, we have to weigh the evidence, we have to weigh their logic, and we have to weigh the facts between between each other's worldviews and ideologies. Ito yung pinakamahirap, ito yung pinaka-challenging, but ito yung pinaka-rewarding kapag napasa natin itong test na to. Kung saan we can justify our beliefs and the other people can justify their beliefs, and that we're going to have a healthy conversation. Gaya ng sabi natin kanina, so Socratic method, a dialectic method in pursuit of knowledge through questions and answers. So ano yung tatlong C para ma-recapture natin yung art ng conversation? Curiosity instead of mockery, connect through listening, and collect facts and logic. And that's how we can recapture the art of conversation. And speaking of recapturing the art of conversation, itong video na to serves as an introductory video para sa gagawin kong series na Why Am I a Christian? Let us practice the art of conversation. Kung saan we're going to talk about faith, belief, spirituality, and God. At sa video na to, Why Am I a Christian? I would just like to present the reasons kung bakit nga ba kinoconsider ko yung sarili ko as a Christian. Sa series natin dito, sa Why Am I a Christian, we're going to talk about, does God exist? Is the Bible reliable? Who is the person of Jesus? And is Christianity true? Etong apat na question pa lang na to, meron na tayong different worldviews, meron tayong different stand. But regardless of that, let us practice the art of conversation in our culture today. And maybe the last thing that I would say in this video is, in order for us to recapture the art of conversation, meron pa tayong isang C, and that is the courage to recapture the art of conversation itself.